Hello, good day, good afternoon, good week. How are we doing? I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another New York session. Today is Tuesday and it's the last trading week of the month. So we are expecting a lot of movements in the market for this week. So I hope you're prepared and ready to see what this week has got for us. Let's start with the dollar as usual. I'm gonna be really quick today because today's Monday. I don't want to go into much. Usually Mondays I like to do the high time frame level, high time frame direction, so that going into the rest of the week we kind of have an idea what we are expecting. I hope you all can hear me. Yes, you can. So beginning with the dollar, dollar did have a bounce off from this last down candle here, and it's rejecting. Last week Friday we did forecast it to come up to this little gap in here. All right, that little gap in there. That's where I want to see price break. I want to see price find like break it in terms of closing above it. Once we do close above it, then I'll be not confident, but there'll be a high probability that price is gonna come up here. Okay, so where am I now? Give me a second. Okay, once we do close above this this gap today, if we close above it today, I'll have a high probability confidence that price is gonna come up to this equal high, right? So that's why I'm watching today's price action to see if we can manage to close above this this gap, because that is what is essentially holding price right now. So if we do manage to close above it today, my next upside objective will be here, and then I'll be expecting there's something a little bit in here as well. Let's change this thing. For our members, tomorrow I'm going to teach you how to do this. All right, so going forward we have these levels on your chart. Okay, so tomorrow our lesson for tomorrow will be how to come up with all this that I've got here. All right, so let's use what I need to use and then get rid of that one. Okay, so we close above that today. Tomorrow I'll be expecting London or New York to push us here, and then once we get there, I'll be, for the rest of the week, maybe we could come up for this equal high, but that's if we close above this. If we reject, then I'll be looking for price to come back down, not to the high because we've already been to the high. So I'll be looking for price to come here, there. So I'll be looking for price to come down here. Okay, this has already provided support, so we don't need that anymore. Okay, we don't need that anymore. So next time price is coming back down, I'll be expecting it to come down to the rejection. So watch this level here, this gap, to see if it's gonna close up above it today. If we don't and we see rejection in the lower time frame, if you see like a 1 hour market structure breaking, so let's say we take out this swing low, then you look for this equal low to be taken. I saw this playing out last night. I didn't want to trade on Sundays, but this was a very good trade to come up to this last up candle. But obviously that happened overnight, so not something that I would like to trade. So going in tomorrow, watch this low and see. We've been there once and then price failed to close above. You can see as hard as it's trying, it can't close above it. So a closure above it will signify that we will be coming up here and then potentially this equal high. So let's put this line here, change this to black. All right, so that is the business on dollar. Euro, absolutely, I don't know what they're trying to do here, but price is stuck up there. And last Friday we were watching price at that level here, the closing price of this last up candle. We were watching it to provide support, and then it did, and eventually came back up again. So it gave support there and eventually came back up, and then we broke down. Okay, so here is a breaker between this wick and the open, and then price came there today and then it's offering a rejection. So if what I'm outlining on dollar will be true, then I'll expect price to drop down here to take out this low and then maybe drop into this low gap. Okay, so if dollar closes above that gap, look for euro to come down here. Okay, that's essentially your Fibonacci level. Yeah, so I'll look for price to drop down to below this level. So that would be in between this gap, would be a good target. So there, right? So if we do get dollar to close above the gap, look for this trade to continue going lower. So maybe London tomorrow morning, you can look for a break above a short-term high, and then you can sell it, or just wait for it to break back down and you can sell it, or you can wait for price to open. That's another technique. So let's say this is tomorrow, so you get another vertical line here, okay, and then the market opens. What you can do, let's say market opens somewhere in here, what you can do is take a short here, look up your last swing high, place your stop above there, and then target there. All right, so that's another thing you can do. If it doesn't provide like a breaker trade or maybe a pullback up and then a breakdown, then you can use this technique, or you can just let price open and give yourself at least a 30 pip stop loss range or 40 pip range, and then you look for a continuation to the downside. Right, and that is if the dollar closes above that gap. If it doesn't, then do not do that. Okay, I do see potential move back down here. Okay, let's remove all this drawing. I do see a potential move back down here because this whole move to the upside looks like a sell profile. Yeah, to me it's a sell profile, not looks like, it is a sell profile. But whether they want to come all the way down here, that's yet to be known. But this level is very possible. It is very possible that they can drop down here. Okay, so if it all depends on what the dollar is doing. Looking at the market structure, yes, we have a breaker here, so you can actually take a sell from here with a stop above there, in anticipation that you trust the dollar is going to do what? The dollar is going to break that high and continue going higher, or break that gap and continue going higher. Therefore this thing should drop. All right, and then if that's not the case and then run all the way back above this high, then your eyes goes right back here for this high. But that would be a weekly target, not tomorrow. It's not that we break this high and then tomorrow we're up here. No, if we go into the 4 hour, so if we break back above that high on the hourly basis, that means the dollar has rejected the gap, therefore it's going to go lower. Then you look for euro to continue higher to come above this area of consolidation. Okay, so that is the business on euro. On British pound, I'm looking at this equal low. I was looking at this pair with a friend of mine over the weekend, and we actually outlined a beautiful trade on a 5 minutes chart. So I'm gonna show you how we came about with that trade, so you can learn. So price was here over the weekend, here. Bear with me, trying to find out where we were. Where's Monday? Okay, right there. So that's where market closed on Friday. So we're looking at price, and we did identify this low gap here, this low gap, and then this down candle's low. That's essentially a breaker. That candle's low, and then we said that price should run this equal high, hit that, and then drop down to that daily. This is the daily down candle's opening price. Yeah, and it did that overnight, literally. So if you look at price on the 5 minutes basis, that's where we had the trade idea. So it was selling up here above this high, so that's the false break above a high, with a stop above that high, and then looking for a target to this one. Yeah, and it did that beautifully. So that's a breaker trade. Okay, so those of you that don't know what a breaker is, if I go into the hourly, so we had this high, that high, and then we broke down. We left a gap here with the breaker, so we expect price to come back to that and then break back down again. So that's a breaker, and then we look for continuation to the downside. I was expecting lower prices, but I didn't continue, and then they have come back above this high again, and it's now breaking down. So if you completely wipe out this low, then you do have another potential. You do have another potential breaker. So this candle's low to the open, this candle's low to the open is something you can take a trade of once we break below. Right, so once you break below, you can use that to take a trade, or you can take a short up here. These are very, if we break down, that's high probability trades right there. So you can take this one with a stop above here, and we do have this equal low that looks very interesting, right? That equal low looks interesting, so you could target that. Yeah, because they don't leave equal lows for too long, and we do have a lot of lows down here. I believe this whole move to the upside was just trying to excite retail traders to jump on board to go long, and now they've turned price back down again. Okay, so we could see potential move back down to take out this low. So if price closes, yeah, this needs to close down here. Okay, then you can use this one or this one as a trade depending on where they close. Okay, so I'll leave this one right here. New Zealand, I think you should leave this one alone because relatively it's strong. Yeah, relative strength analysis shows that this pair is strong, therefore you don't want to be selling short on this one. If you want to sell short, maybe this, but compared to what the euro and pound is doing, you're better off selling short on the euro and the pound and leaving the New Zealand and Aussie alone. Okay, because they are strong. You can see euro and pound dropping, and these guys are like, nope, we are not dropping. So that's relative strength. So you can use that information and then couple that for a cross pair. So that would be Euro New Zealand. That would be Euro New Zealand. So Euro New Zealand should be dropping, and you can see it's dropping to stay at a -33. And then if you check on Euro Aussie, you'll see the same thing, that is also dropping. All right. So do not short this and that because relatively they are strong. If you want to short anything, maybe Aussie, you can look for a breakout on Aussie to short at. So we did run above that high, so maybe once we take out this low, you could sell this one but not the New Zealand. All right. Dollar CAD, I'm still waiting for us to close above this high. If we do going forward, I'll be looking for buys. Yeah, if we do close above that, I'll be looking for a buy. We do have a short-term high in here, so if we do close above it, any retracement we could see price taking us higher. On the 4 hour, for now we are bullish. We made a low high, we failed to make a lower low, and we've made a high, so that is essentially bullish. So this gap could be maybe a point of retracement to continue going higher. So watch this gap. So much that one. It could be a point of retracement to continue going higher. So if you do retrace there, then protect yourself with this down candle. Depending on where you want to get into, you can enter here, you can enter there. It's a preference. You stop here, and then ideally I like this equal highs up here, but that is extreme. This is extreme. So you want to take something off wherever this high will form and turn around. That will be your first target, and then second target will be looking above this high. Okay, and then that is your target there. And then once you get here, you're gonna leave some on to see if price is willing to go above this high. Okay, maybe not that above that, but it could fill in this void right there. Okay, so if we do get a pullback on this, you can look for potential buy to continue going higher. That is if the dollar gives us what we are looking for. Everything is hinged around the dollar. If the dollar doesn't give you what I outlined on it, then do not do what I'm saying here, because that will not work. Right? We need the dollar to be bullish before the dollar pairs will move in the direction that I'm calling them. Dollar Swiss, we came back to the down candle again, and then it has given us support. It's the same story as a dollar pair, so it failed to make a lower low. So if it breaks above this high, then you look for this area of consolidation to be run. Okay, so if you break above this high, any retracement will cause price to come up here, right? So on the daily, it looks like this. Close above this down candle will be bullish for us to come up here, but we need to be patient for that to show us first before we can start using it. Okay, Euro pound, this pair doesn't know what to do. If you remember, not you guys, the VIP members, if you remember, we did have some levels on this chart, which was the open, the opening price, the middle. Let's measure the middle properly. The middle, and then the rejection. There we go. Okay, if we drop down to the 1 hour time frame, you can see price hit the opening price, went beyond it a little bit into this breaker. Yeah, so if you see, we have a high, and then we broke down. Price never retouched it, so it came right back to the breaker, to the pip right there, and then died off, and then came back up, and then went down. We've come back to this last up candle. This could be potential sell again. Yeah, today's Monday, not that confident with that, but it is a potential trade to come back to this equal low, right? This equal low, we could come back down and take that one, and then this consolidation here, we could also come back down and take that one out. Okay, so this is a potential selling opportunity. If we break above this high, then I think it might want to come back up into that candle's low before selling off again. Okay, but I think this might cause price to break back down, but if we don't, then it will come back up here and then break down again. So that's essentially what I see right now. Okay, so you can play with it, and if it stops you out, then you look for next sell up here. That sell, I'll place my stop here, and I still look for a move back down again, okay, to attack this equal low. So I'll leave this one as it is, and then see if price is gonna do that. Take it off here, so that would be the target, and then ultimately looking for a run below all this consolidation. Aussie, New Zealand, let's remove. So I was looking at some retail ideas to see what retail trend line traders are thinking. So let's remove all this. This is my analysis, but I'm getting rid of them so I can have a fresh chart to look at what price is doing. So you can see that's the trend line traders hugging this. Don't even know how to draw it, but this will work. Yeah, I think this will work. Yeah, so price is hugging this trend line, imaginary line, and at some point they're gonna get hit, right? I'm looking at a potential bounce off from this week. If we do run back down here to the opening price of this down candle prior to all this move up, that's when I'll look for these trend line traders to be hit. So we're not far off. If we come back, I want to see a big move to the downside. I want to see this. Actually, let's draw it properly. I want to see something like this, and then hug this, come back down, and then boom, target this high. Okay, so if we do see price form a short-term high prior to hitting this, you break that and hug this again, that will bring a lot of confidence for this trend line traders the next time it's coming up to sell short again, looking for lower prices, but unaware of this level. Then not just that level, but adding this as a supporting idea, because we hit that and then we broke structure to the upside. So once they hack this, they will go short again, expecting lower prices, but they'll be blinded to this this level and then the breaking market structure, and then we will hit them hard to target this high. All right, so you can have this scenario. You can draw it on your chart if you want, because that's essentially what I'm looking for. Okay, Euro New Zealand. All right, this morning I was looking at this, the down candles low right here, and I was looking that price should hold there and then attack this low. Why that specific low? Because if you look all the way up from this low all the way up, okay, that was the high and low of this range, and they have attacked that high and then rejected. So if they've done that, then they should attack this low, okay, because it's like we call it market efficiency paradigm shift. The smart money wants to sell up here, okay, so they drive price purposely up there to sell, okay, and then once it gets there, they want to bring it back down and liquidate the position that they took up here. So they're going to close the position that they took up here. So where the best area where they will find a lot of liquidity to close their trade is all the way down here. Okay, so I'm expecting this area or this last up candle here to provide support and send us down here. So you could look at something like this. Right there, leave a little bit of space above that high just in case they want to run that high again, and then look for a run for this low. All right, so that could be something you can look out for, because you had this sharp move down, they rejected this bullish move, so we can look for that to send us down here. Euro needs pound New Zealand. Let's go into the daily. It looks as if they want to come below this into this down candle. Okay, it looks like they want to come below this low to this down candle. They've rejected this high. If we were to support price to go higher, we shouldn't be down here. Okay, if we are to support price to go higher, we shouldn't be down here. So this looks like equal low to me, and they want to run it down. If we close as we are today, that is good, because this down candle, even though it's within this huge one, I'll still use that as a breaker, because that one is huge. Okay, it's very big, so I use this one as the breaker, because we do have a low, a lower low, and a higher low, so that's essentially a swing low. So I'll use that candle, and it looks as if that's what price did. If you look here, price opened up and then jumped up into the closing price of this down candle there. Okay, and then rejected. So we could actually look for breakers to sell. So unfortunately, they didn't run any high. It did run some highs on the lower time frame. On the 15 minutes, I think it did. Yeah, so right here, okay, you see this high and this low, and then we broke down. Price came back to another short-term high in here. So I'm basically a breaker trader, so I can see these trades on the lower time frame. So we have the short-term high, and then price breached it into the breaker. So the breaker is this whole wick and this down candle prior to the move up, and then we had another one in here, this one, run this high, break down again, then trades back inside this down candle, and then we break down. We also have another one in here, okay, taking out this short-term high, and then we're breaking down. So on the lower time frame, you could look at this level there, okay, as a potential area to send price back down again. Okay, we can look at that area to send price down again. On the higher time frame, it doesn't have any breakers on there. Okay, on the higher time frame, I don't see any breakers on there, but on the lower time frame, it does. So you could look for a continuation to the downside. You could target this level based on the hourly. You could target this level, and then you let the rest run for this equal low, that low, and that low, okay, into the down candle on the daily. So you could look for potential continuation to the downside. I'll leave my stop up here, 61 pips for this. It's not bad. Sorry, that's the equal low. Right, with the first target here, second target there, and then leaving the rest to come down here. If we break above this high, then your eyes comes right back up to yeah, your eyes comes back up to this up candle. So if you break above this high, then your eyes comes right back here, but I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case, and if it does, then that's also another good area to consider a sell. So if prices to get back up here, you could consider a sell as well. I don't know how price is gonna go up, so I'll leave it right here. So if prices to ever come back up here, you could look for a sell up there and look for some profit taking. All right, so that's what we have on euro, pound New Zealand. Pound yen, this thing is just a mess right now, so I'll say stay out because it's just a mess. You don't want to be doing anything on this. Okay, it looks like it's stuck in a range. Okay, so probably best thing is to stay out. Let's drop down to the hourly and see if we can see anything. Yeah, it's just a mess. I was looking for this high to be run. Okay, but I don't like the fact that they've come all the way down below this low. That's not good. Yeah, I was hoping that this range stays intact, so the move to that up there should have been between this low and that high. That move from here should take us above that high, and they didn't, so might be a potential that they might drop, and or they can stay sideways. Just come down, take out the stops, and then reject and stay in that range. So you want to stay out on that one. Dollar yen, so I did get a buy on Wednesday, I think, here, but I had to close my trade on Friday. I think, yeah, at that level. That's where I closed my trade on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Friday was 23rd. Yeah, so I closed my trade right as it was hitting this last up candle, because I knew that it was not going to break above that high. How did I know? If you join my VIP members, I'll tell you, or just send me a private message. I'll tell you how I knew. And I was actually looking for price to close above here. All right, so Friday when market opened, it failed to close there, and then price retrace, taking out this short-term low, breaking market structure, retracing back down to this down candle, and then now we've closed above. So I think price wants to go higher. Let's go on the daily. So that would have been a target. The closing price on this is the next target, and then this closing this low. So these are upside objectives on dollar yen. So I'm actually gonna start hunting for a buy. Actually, this looks like a buy to me. Yeah, dip back down into this gap. That looks like a buy to me to continue going higher. So that looks like a buy with a stop below here. Buying this gap, this low, that high, anywhere in between those two, that's an entry. And first target is up here, second target is up there, right? So there you have it. Euro yen, I'm waiting for price to come down here. Okay, we have broken short-term high. I think they've engineered a lot of highs in here, so that could be a trap. So I'll be expecting price to come back down and then offer me a buy. So I've actually placed a buy limit, and by the way, it's all demo. Okay, we are in a demo season. So I've actually placed a buy limit here with my stop just below this low, so in between the 1 and the 79, in between, that's where I've got my stop, and I'm expecting price to come up to this gap here. All right, and then potentially to the upper one with the first target there. So let me draw it so you can see. This gap with a stop just below there and target right. I look for this equal high, but that's extreme. So if I put it there, doesn't mean that's where I'm expecting it to go. I'm expecting it to come up here. That's first target there, and then there. Okay, and then the rest is just leaving it on to see if it's gonna reach for that. Okay, so the real target would be 1, 2, 3, but then I'll leave a piece on to see if it wants to attack this equal high. If it breaks down here, then my eyes goes right back to the down candle on the 4 hour, right there. How it lines up with that one, beautiful. So if we break down here, then I'll mitigate the loss by taking a short to attack this equal low, and then to hit this down candle. And I might look for a buy as well, because that is a good level. It's similar to the dollar Swiss trade. Oh, you can't hear me? Are you sure you can't hear me? That must have been a long time then. Can you hear me? Just before I continue, I was looking at gold for a breaker. So let me see if it gave me one. Yeah, gold. I don't think most of you were with me on Friday. On Friday, I was looking for a sell at this level. Where is that level? Yeah, I was looking for a sell at that level to come down all the way to clean this equal low. Okay, and then they give that, and then today we come back to close in the void or the low gap, and then it's breaking back down. So on gold, I'm expecting it to continue going lower. Okay, cool. Thank you, Marco. I think you need to check your settings, because I can see that the mic is working and I'm very loud. I'm trying to stay away. I'm too loud. So maybe check your settings and see. Alright, So I just quickly wanted to show you gold, what the trade idea that I had on Friday was to sell here, break down, but the actual target was this equal low, right? And the first target was this. Yeah, sell here, first target there, and then second target there. It came back up to rebalance or to fill in this low gap, and then it's breaking back down. So if you look on the lower time frame, this down candle, let's see if it's gonna close, and then you could look for a continuation to the downside on gold, right? So look for gold to drop down here. Just quickly wanted to show you because it might run away before we get there. So let's jump back to Euro Yen. So Euro Yen, as I was saying, if we break below this, then I'll look to mitigate the loss on this trade and then take a sell down here, and then once we get down there, I'll take a buy, and that buy is similar to the dollar Swiss trade here. Okay, you can see we had a equal low down candle, quick move away, we come back down, we run it, and then we get bounce. So that would be, so sell short to come down, mitigate the loss, and then buy to make the profit that I need to make back. So if we do have this thing to drop, then I'll be selling short to take out this equal low into this down candle with a big move away, and that should offer me a bounce. All right, so that is Euro Yen. CAD Yen, let's jump on to oil, and then I'll talk about CAD Yen. So you all know I gave a signal on Friday about oil, and I did make mention of this trend line. Right, I did make mention of this trend line, that because we do have that trend line, they might get punished because price will come here and then they probably want to continue buying. So if you sell short up there, make sure you take something off and then look for that as your target. Okay, ideally this is the main trend line on the high time frame that I'm expecting price to come to. All right, remember the storyline I gave you guys up here, that they will run this equal high and then send this thing all the way down. Yeah, they are gonna send this down because we are in a period where oil becomes very weak. So this could be what they are trying to do, take out this equal high, or let people believe that we're going to continue going higher and then send it down. So if you did catch the short and you still short, then keep some on and look for this trend line as a target. Okay, and then ultimately I think they're going to break it, so look for this equal low for not long term but medium term. So if you drop down to the daily, you'll see what level that is. This equal low. There's a little gap in there. So that's where I'm expecting oil to drop to. So it's gonna break this and then look to jump in here. Okay. And that is what I'm expecting to help CAD to give us that trade to the upside. Okay, so if this retraces again, I think they will close above this high. I don't think this is gonna come back down to reject this high. So if we retrace, that would be very good trade to attack this high, and then that last up candle there, and then potentially we will be looking for that target up there. If we go on to, so I've talked about CAD yen, right? So with that weakness in oil, we all know, I kept mentioning that we could potentially see a breakback down below this equal lows. Okay, if you look at the trend line again, because these trend line traders are just too stubborn, they want to hag right there. They want to hag the trend line. So looking at what price has done now, we could see eventually price trading lower with the weakness in oil. Okay, we could see CAD drop all the way back down into this last down candle right there. Let's go on the daily. Okay, so right here would be a possible target, right? So on CAD yen, you could start looking for a sell to send price lower. I believe the oil is going to keep dropping, and that will send CAD yen down for this equal low. So areas that you can sell at will be, we've already moved away from this breaker here, and that's the down candle prior to this move up, and then we broke down, retest, and then we are looking for a continuation to the downside. We are now moving, so you could do something like this, because we've already done the job up here, and then look for a continuation to the downside. Okay, because they're punishing the trend line traders. Or if price is to reject and come back up, then you could take this last up candle here and then still look for this as your target. So whichever one you have them in the pocket, we know what they're trying to do. So if you want, you can just chase as it's going now with a stop above here and trust that it's going to continue going lower, or just be patient and see if, I don't think they will come above this trend line. I don't think so. So it might just continue to roll over. Right, so you be your own boss and make that decision. Okay, being your own boss and make a decision. Okay, I'm gonna accept that it can come up here and stop me out, and I will not be upset about it, but I'll just be patient for it to come up here and then sell short. But I could be right, and this thing can continue dropping, and I'll be right by selling short to continue going lower. Okay, so I'll let you be your own boss and make that decision. First target, look for this candle's rejection, maybe just before that as your first target, and then your second target will be there. And then once you get here, just leave something on to see how far they want to go. Maybe they would like to take out this low, you never know. All right, so that is dollar, CAD yen. Swiss yen, similar to what I'm looking at on euro yen. I have a buy limit on the 1 hour, somewhere down here, this low gap. Okay, so if you do happen to get there, then happy days, I'll be a buyer. If not, then if it does break, I'm looking for this whole area of consolidation to be run. Okay, so if it's similar to what the euro yen is doing, so if we take out this low, I'll be confident that they might want to take out this and then come down here, right? So then I'll take a sell to come down here. So let's see how price play out this week. New Zealand yen, I think this thing might stay sideways, so again, just like the pound yen, just stay out and then watch it. We will get a buy if we close above this high. Okay, we will be looking for a buy once we close above that high. So mark this down candle and then see if price is closing above it. Once we get that closure, I think they might send price for this equal high. Okay, so we'll be looking for a buy. New Zealand CAD, this is what I was expecting here, and this move again got delayed by a week, right? We were looking for that move on the second week of October, but they decided to go down first, just as usual they do sometimes or most of the time, and then the following week now they are heading up to where exactly we were targeting. So if you look at the trade idea I gave the other day, that was where we were targeting, okay, from this down candle, but they decided to manipulate price to the downside first before going up. They've managed to go above this gap. Now let's look at an example of a gap trade. So where is it? Here, right there. So that gap, okay, see how they closed below, and then next day price open and then comes back into that same gap and then extend to the downside. If we are to get a pullback into now this gap that we've managed to close above, if you have to get a pullback into that gap, okay, that would be good for us to look for higher prices. I think this thing is gonna run up. Okay, I've already talked a lot about this pair being generous in terms of the way it moves. So if we do get a pullback, we could be looking for a buy. So I like the gap there. So if we do manage to pull back inside that area, I think that is just too clean for them to leave it there. Personally, I think it's just too clean. So let's see if we're gonna get a retracement, and then if we get that retracement, you could just buy it. If you want to chase it, then I'll say buy. Place your stop below today's low. Okay, place your stop below today's low, and then that will be first target, but look for this high. Okay, so you could do something like this. I know it's chasing, but it's not chasing if you understand what price should do. So that high, and we could come up because we've been here, the main threshold, so we could come all the way up to that one. Now my members, we've done this lesson, so you know that's the middle, and then after the middle we go to the closing price. Okay, so then we could look for that, and if it does happen to retrace, then happy days, then we load up down here with a stop below this candle rather. Okay, and if that stops us out, then even much better if they drop. This would be ideal retracement. Okay, this is the ideal retracement. Okay, this is what I want, but most of the time they don't come back. Okay, most of the time they don't come back, so we could just try to get something out of it, and then if they do eventually turn around and start coming down, then yes, we will load the boat down here to continue going higher. Okay, so I'll leave this one as it is. And then just like I just talked about on gold, I'm looking for a continuation to the downside from price hitting this and closing that in. So I'll be expecting a continuation to the downside. So if you happen to see a breaker, they're doing a lot of manipulation, but if they happen to leave a breaker, then you can use that as a trade and then target this equal low down here. Right, so if you do get a breaker entry, then look for price to drop down here. But the original trade was this one, like we did go through on Friday during the live session. Again, that's a trend line phantom. We have these folks, retail traders, hugging trend lines. Okay, so we have one hit, a double hit that confirms the trend line, and then we had a third one and it gave them a bounce, and then price punished. So I think they're gonna get punished again into that equal low. All right, so I expect this to continue from that trade on Friday down there. So first target was there and that has been hit, so I expect a continuation to the downside. And then finally, I've just talked about oil. Okay, so if you did catch the oil trade on Friday, I said leave someone to come down here, okay, to hack or to give these trend line traders something to be happy about, and then ultimately I'll look for price to keep dropping to that level. On a daily, if for any reason price decides to come back up, okay, you could look for another sell between this low and that high. This low and that closing price. Between these two price points, you could look for another sell. Okay, so if price is to give us a pullback for any weird reasons, which I don't think it should, then you could look for another sell. So maybe tomorrow we open, price start shooting up, you expect the high of the day to form somewhere. I don't think it should come all the way up here. That should be fine, and then we look for a continuation to the downside. Okay, so that will be it from me. Is there any other pair you want me to look at before I disappear? That's a good sell. That's not chasing price though. It's basically understanding price and what price should do. I think we might get a very good sell-off from this pair. EA should be dropping. UAUD, right, it should keep dropping. Let's go on the daily. So we came, let's measure the range. Yeah, we've been at the 50%, which is okay. We took out this high. Look at the weekly. Big rejection on the weekly. Let's go back to the daily. Swing high form, price dips back in. Yeah, it should come back down here. Let's look at that. Let's see if we did manage to close inside that high. We did. So you could look for a sell. This down candle's closing price, or up here. So again, I'll let you be the boss. You could look for a sell with a stop above there, or you could wait for price to come all the way up here, and then instead of leaving your stop there, just push it right up to this one. Okay, so be the boss and take from here or take from there. Okay, just like the Cardian. Okay, you be the boss and decide whether you want to take it there or take it there. So you can be patient and let it come up here, or you can say, okay, I do want to get in now, and then look for a move to the downside. So downside objective would be, I think it would do what Euro New Zealand has done. So I'll quickly jump onto Euro New Zealand. Put Euro New Zealand here. Okay, so this low that has been run, that should also come down there and run that. So you could look for a run back down here, and let's go on the daily, see what daily, yeah, into this gap. Yeah, so you could look for that as a continuation to come back down into this gap. It's actually not bad area, because that's our pattern that we use. This is an engulfed pattern, and then we've come back to tap the opening price. So it's actually a good one. If I traded this pair, I'll sell short, okay, and place my stop above here and look for a continuation to the downside. If this happens to break, then I'll look for price to trade up here, and then I'll mitigate the loss. Okay, so if this stops me out, then I'll take a buy to come up here, and then I'll mitigate the loss. But I don't see that happening, so look for a continuation to the downside to target this equal low, and then into, I think we might even drop into this gap. So this one here, I say, so once you get there, you close most of your profit off and then leave some on to see if you can drop down here. So first target would be just as it runs this low, and then second target would be there, and then look for leave some on to see if you're gonna get down here. But if we take out this high, then mitigate the loss by going long and taking the profit up there. Oh, you are in a buy, right? Okay. Good luck with that one. If you're in a buy, then I'll say hold on to it and see what it's going to do for you. It could take out this equal high as a target, and that's a possibility. But in my experience, this 4-hour engulfing pattern is powerful, and it should reject price, right? And then if you do your relative strength analysis, which is what I'm leaning on, okay, so if you do your relative strength analysis, put Aussie here and then put Euro there, and then do your relative strength analysis. This is on the 4-hour, this one, I'll put this on the 4-hour. Okay, so that's Euro and that's Aussie. So the way you do your relative strength analysis is comparing the lows and highs. So where is the recent low that they share in common? So we have a low here. Okay, we have a low here. We had this down candle, but Euro has moved all the way down. Okay, Euro has moved all the way down. This was a pullback. So this pullback is just a retracement on Euro Aussie, and now price is trading down on this whilst this is holding. So if you drop down the hourly, if you compare the lows again, this is holding this low, okay, and that is all the way down here. So relative strength wise, Aussie is stronger than Euro, so that will cause Euro Aussie to fall. So this thing might just fall off, and this thing will stay where it is, and then Euro Aussie should where is that one? Euro AUD. Yeah, Euro Aussie should fall. So this is a pullback. Let's do this and see if I'm right. If I'm right, I'm gonna put an indicator on here, and it should sell. It should give me overbought. Okay, between this high and that low, it should give me overbought. Right, so as price is coming up, once this hits this level, we might be finding ourselves somewhere in here, or you could just hang around in here, and then this one will run up. High, low, optimal trade entry, and then you look to sell it. I don't think you should be in a buy, okay, but don't let me talk you out of your own trade. Okay, you be your own boss and you decide. All right, it can be conflicting that I'm telling you it's a sell and you are in a buy, so trust yourself and then stay with your buy. If you're wrong, then you admit that you're wrong. Okay, trust yourself and be in your own buy, because you know what you're seeing that is giving you the confidence to buy it. And then if you're wrong, then you will learn why you are wrong. Okay, yeah, you can do that as well. Yeah, risk-free trade, just place your stop at break even and then see what price is going to do. Or you can have a risk-free trade and then sell short as well and place your stop above here and then see what that is also going to play out for you. Any other pair recommendation? Let's jump on to pound quickly. Let's go into 5 minutes. Oh dear. that looks very interesting. It looks like price wants to take out this low from where we are. It looks like it wants to take out this low. So I just got a message from a friend of mine showing me, because I did see it. I don't know if you guys have, yeah, my members should be familiar with it. So that is a sell model basically. So you'll be looking for price to run this low, and then maybe you pull back up, and then the pullback you sell short up here. Okay, so if we break this low, it comes back up, that would be a good area to sell based on the high time frame. Let's go on to indices. Indices is intermarket. They are dying off. It's a good sell from up there. So this looks like it might want to take out this equal low. Okay, they've got a good that low on the weekly. Let's go on the monthly. Yeah, they might be coming back down for a pullback because price has closed back inside this range, so they might be coming back for a pullback. And why? Yeah, I know why it's not doing that. So usually this is what I would do. I'll measure this high to that low, and then the mean threshold. That is where I'll be expecting price to drop to. So, oh, come on, man. Give me some joy. Okay. Let's drop down to daily. And, you know, yeah, it looks like they want to come down. I think dollar is bullish, so they might come back down. Once we break this low, we will attack this equal low here. Dude, what's wrong with you? Yeah, it looks like they want to attack that low. Yeah, so if you do trade these indices, then you could look for a sell going forward. They do have, yeah, this down candle, but look at this last up candle as a potential area for price to come back. It might not do it depending on how the next candle opens and closes. But if the next one opens and runs all the way up here, then you could look for a sell. We don't need to go up there. Okay, so if the next one, I think we might get a bounce. you might get a bounce in this area, and then price might go back up. So if you do and it hits this level, you can't look for a sell to continue going lower. I don't think this should support price, because this whole move to the upside looks like this has been engineered. It was like dragging the retail, or those that chase this price, was dragging them. We call it priming. It was priming them to buy it. Okay, and then they run it all the way to the last up candle and then reject it. So definitely they will come back down here, and then yeah, look for a continuation to the downside on the S&P 500. On Nasdaq, that also has got beautiful equal low sitting here. So this whole move to the upside, again, that looks like it was priming people to buy it, expecting higher prices, and then they put the brakes on there and then reject it. So this up candle, once we close, look for price to retrace back up to it, and then you sell short and target this equal low. If you break above that, then you look for these highs and then there to mitigate the loss. Alright, so that is your trade idea. There's a low gap in here, so that could cause that bounce. Hit that, reject, and then make an attempt for this equal low, and then this equal low as well. You could look for that, because I personally think dollar is going to be bullish going into the election, and so this thing will might end up dropping or retracing, not completely collapsing but retracing. And then this is the Dow. Dow looks a bit different. Let's see if I can get these trend line traders on board. Right, these trend traders could be on board, so they might be driving it up here, down here, to give them some joy, and then probably punish them. On the 4-hour, we don't have anything. This down candle, if it does retrace back to it. So if you look at this is, I think, the weakest out of the three, because this one has broken the down candle that took price all the way up. Okay, so this is the priming. They were encouraging people to buy. So this one has taken out this low. Nasdaq and the ES mini or S&P 500 hasn't done so yet, so they will do as well. So this one is weak, very weak, so this might not pull. What's up, mate? This one might not pull back too much, so rely on this too for your trade. Alright, and this is the so this is my intermarket analysis. I use that to see what should actually happen, or they should be correlating. So as these bonds are going higher, then stock market should be going lower and dollar should be going higher. Then the CRB index for the commodities, so all commodities should be selling off. So if I do see that, then it gives me confidence to stay with the narrative that is in play. So if these are going up, this should be going down, dollar should be going up, this should be going down. So once you see that there is that's the cycle of the market, it should be it's like a wheel. Okay, it's rolling perfectly. So if there's any bump, then probably all this will be going down, all this will be going down, then that's not a good condition. Okay, so the condition we have right now looks okay, so we might get probably dollar to continue going higher. Let's see, crypto has died off. I was just about to buy some Litecoin. No, sorry, not Litecoin, Ripple. I was thinking of buying Ripple. So let's add that one to it. ETH/USD and crypto. Am I using the right one? Ethereum. Don't know how to spell that. ETHERE. Yeah, and I use Coinbase. Which one should I use? I'm not sure. Which one should I use? They all look the same to me. This one and that one looks the same. Well, I'll use that one then. Okay, let's go into the weekly. Okay, looking at the weekly, there's no range high. We came back down for optimal trade entry. We've rejected. On the daily, down, last up, we've rebalanced here, so the gap has been traded, the break has been traded. All right, thanks. Gap has been traded, the break has been traded. Yeah, so you could look for a buy to come up here and there and then there. It's not gonna break it easily to continue going higher, so these are your upside objectives. So for you to be a buyer, okay, between this high and that low, look for you're not, or maybe you do not use the stuff that I use, so maybe look for optimal trade entry, buying at the 70.5 level, and then look for first target above that high, and then second target and third target, and so on. Okay, so what you can do is just basically buy here, buy somewhere in here, okay, anywhere in here, maybe divide it into two, divide it into two, and then be a buyer in the middle. Okay, and place your stop down here, and then target up there, but make sure you take something off here. Okay, so you could do something like this. I'll place my stop just there, and then I'll do that, and then you take something off there, and then there. So these are your 3 upside objectives. You can leave some on for that level up there, but yeah, you can leave something on for that level up there. Okay. What's up, bro? What are you doing? Let's look at Bitcoin. If you go back and watch some of the videos that I did, I said we could probably come down here and then make an attempt to run that high. And then if we do, the upside objective is there. Yeah. So Bitcoin can make an attempt for that high. So you're looking at 14K for Bitcoin. So yeah, 14K for Bitcoin. All right. And then Litecoin. Let's look at this. I need to trade some of these. I need to trade some of these. Yeah, he's on a plan. He's on a planet on his own. I need to trade some of these cryptos. So we have been here. Yeah, that looks like a proper rebalance, so we could see price drop down a bit lower. Weekly, we could drop back down here. Yeah, we could drop back down here, and you can look for another buy to continue going higher. So from these 2 levels, you could start anticipating a buy, or you can just place your fib and look to buy the 618. Okay, and then you look for a continuation to the upside. You can also look for a sell to come back down there, as this is essentially a breaker. Okay, so you can sell this up candle and look for that retracement, and look for this to come down, maybe this low. Okay, so you can sell short, take it down, and then buy long to take it up. And then Ripple is just being Ripple. It's rippling. Let's go on the weekly. I had a conversation with a friend of mine. It says that Ripple might run to $10. So if that's the case, then I might be looking to put some money in Ripple. So if it does go to $10, I'd be a billionaire. We'll have a look in a minute. Give me a second. Ripple is just consolidating on the weekly, so I don't like it. It's consolidating on the weekly, so I don't like it. So you can trade breaker, this down candles close, and then target this gap. But it's on the weekly it's consolidating, so I don't like it. You can leave that one alone and then deal with this one, and leave Bitcoin alone because that has just rallied too much. And then you can trade this one, either sell it to come down or buy it from down here. Let's go to service pairs again, and look at dollar yen. Let's go on the 1 hour. Okay, let's see what price is doing in the 15 minutes. Yeah, that looks interesting. Yeah, you could be a buyer. I really want this thing to close above it before I do any commitment on the upside regarding the dollar. And this gap here, okay, this gap here, be patient and let price close above it. Okay, be patient and let price close above it, because if it doesn't, this could be like they're pushing price up for people to think we are going up, and then they will send it back down again. So a closure above it would be, it's like it would be a ceiling. So it'd be not a ceiling. So if it's not a ceiling, it's the opposite of ceiling. Price is preventing it to go up. So it'd be like support turn resistance, or resistance turn support, something like that. So be patient, let today close, okay? And then going into tomorrow, you can use what happens today to have a firm direction. Okay, let price close above that, and then you have a firm direction. I hope that helps. All right, I've only got 3 minutes left. Is there anything anyone wants me to look at before I call it a day? Is there anything anyone wants me to look at before I call it a day? So for our members, tomorrow we'll be going through marking your high time frame levels. Okay, so bring your books and pens, and then we go through marking your high time frame levels. So I'm going to show you how I did this or this, okay, and how you can make them appear. You already know, but I'm gonna show you anyway, because there will be levels that are important on the weekly. Okay, there will be levels that are important on the weekly, and those weekly levels should only be seen on the weekly and lower, and not on the monthly. So once you draw your weekly levels, you edit it that it should just show you from the weekly and lower. So anytime you go on the monthly, those levels shouldn't be showing. So like you can see here, I do have some levels on the chart, but if I go on the higher time frame, it's not showing because I've taken it off from the weekly and monthly. So you can only see it on the daily, the hourly, and the 4-hour. Yeah, so tomorrow we will be going through that. Oh yeah, true, that's true. That's the 300. 1.3 level. Yeah, no wonder price is finding it hard to go down. Anyway, if it goes through, I think it will go through it. Yeah, I think it will go through it. Maybe to the next quarter level. So the next quarter level will be 275. We have a gap in there, so 275. Once we break through that, we will be going down there. If we don't, then we'll be going to 1.325. So those who trade quarters theory, that's what you have. Okay, it's 4 o'clock. I've overstayed, so thank you for coming. The VIP members, I'll see you tomorrow at 9, and for YouTube members, I will see you on Wednesday at 2 p.m. All right, enjoy the rest of your day, and take care of yourselves.